Hello everyone, my name is Phawx. In this video we're going to be taking a look at Skyrim running on the GPD Win 3. We're going to be doing a low power mode for handheld usage, as well as docking the unit and going to 1080p Ultra, and we'll talk about power and everything else regarding settings. So you can see right here that I've set low quality. The only other thing that I'm going to do in here is just poke there just so you can see. We'll go ahead and go to data files, and we're going to disable the high res. I should really use the keyboard here, and I will because it's better. So we're going to go down, spacebar, spacebar, spacebar. Okay, see that? Okay, good, great, and awesome. Say okay there, and now we're going to hit play. Alrighty, here we are in game. I've gone ahead and set the CPU to 1 gigahertz, otherwise we would have wasted power for no particular reason. I am still in the background trying to fiddle with different EPP modes and see if we can just have this set automatically, but right now I'm setting it manually just so that we can get the better efficiency out of it. So right now we can see that our CPU package power is 6.7 watt. That's going to go up to 7 watt, 7.5 watt at the top. Total system power we can see is around 10 watt right there. This will lead to around 4.5 hours of gameplay in Skyrim low settings at 720p 60. This particular area right here, and I'm going to kind of mention that again when I do the dock settings, this was one of the most taxing areas on the GPD Win 1 for me when I used to play Skyrim on the GPD Win 1. I could get better frame rate in other areas, but this one was the most taxing. Just so you can see, I'm pretty late level in here. I'm loading a save file from a game that I've played through on Skyrim, which I really should be playing through again. And you can see that our power dipped down a bit. We're down to like 6.5 watt. That's because in that area, it is pretty taxing. There's a lot of effects with that well and everything. Sure thing. Down to 6.2 watt. Typically, the highest that I've seen it go when we were kneecapping the CPU to 1 gigahertz. That's all we really need to hit 60 FPS. GPU-wise, it's not really super taxing. Overall, you can see we're at 6 watt right now. Total system power is 9 watt. Again, that particular area that I loaded into is going to be one of the more intense areas. And on the GPD Win 1, it really reflected it. Alrighty, so I just teleported over to Whiterun real quick. Now again, you can see there's slight fluctuation, little dips between not hitting 60 consistently. Again, I'm doing 1 gigahertz on CPU, so if you just bumped up that a bit, you're going to have a better frame rate. But this is mostly just like kind of loading scenes and stuff until we can lock back 60. But we're still, total system power is around 10 watt, 10.2 watt. This is still effectively 4.5 hours of gameplay if you wanted to do a game like Skyrim. Older games yet, I've tested Bioshock. That we save an additional 2 watt instead of it running at 7 watt right now. I've gotten that down to 5 watt. So obviously different older games, different ways to play them. It's a little bit interesting because Bioshock is a DirectX 10 game and this is a DirectX 9 game. I would have figured that it would have been a little bit better, but apparently Skyrim has a bunch more going on, or the Gamebryo engine is just doing some other stuff. But even the Bioshock water scenes look surprisingly good. And seeing Bioshock still look really good, have DX10, which really wasn't the best API, and still running better is interesting to kind of note. But this is just engine differences, so worth noting. Anyway, let's go over and skip to the docked part of this gameplay, just so you can get an idea of the different types of ways to use your GPD Win 3, either if you wanted to play handheld and get 4.5 hours of battery life at low settings, or if we just max it out at 1080p Ultra settings and bump it up to 25 watt. Alrighty, so we are docked mode right now, and it is 1080p here, but we still are low settings. So I'm going to go ahead and push Ultra, and you'll see that everything is as high as it can possibly go. The only thing that I do want to disable is anti-aliasing, because that will beat us up pretty bad. But at least we'll be able to get a better idea of quality. Still, without anti-aliasing. Now you saw it jump to 120 FPS there. That is because I am actually running 1080p 120. It won't ever reach there at these ultra settings. Right here in this particular setting is what I kind of have as my benchmark, because this is always what I used on the Win 1, and Win 1 performance tanked bad here, even though I could get pretty good performance everywhere else. So I like to show this off as a general idea of what type of performance you can get, especially on the later end of the game when there's just a tremendous amount of effects going on in some of the later scenes. Right now our CPU package power is around 25 watt. We only really have another 5 watt in the hopper for the 1135 G7. The 1165 G7 should be able to take this up a little bit higher. However, I don't think a stable 1080p 120 is going to be possible here. And I say that just because I've gone through a bunch of different settings. I went to 1080p low settings, and I was getting around 100 FPS. Around here I was getting 120, but overall I was getting around 100, and for the severe degradation in image quality, I didn't feel like it was particularly worth it. Now, right now, you would, preferably frame cap this at 60 just so that it is consistent instead of it bouncing around. The only reason I'm showing you that is so you can see how much more power we have left. This is indeed with the HD texture pack as well, so that you can be able to enjoy the game if you wanted to dock it, if you were looking at docking this and having the benefit of playing portable and docked through the same machine. Again, this is not through an eGPU. This is the 1135 G7 version that is running this right now. Anyway, so we've got an idea of both of these modes through both handheld and how low power we can take it in low settings, and on the other side of the coin, boosting up power like crazy, all on the same chip, and then doing 1080p 60 ultra settings. This is ultra. We don't have anti-aliasing enabled right now, but everything else is there, including the high-res texture packs. Anyway, that is Skyrim on the GPD Win 3. As always, guys, thank you for your time, and thanks for watching.